In this lesson, we're going to block in the head of the character. Alright, so to get started here, let's go ahead and select the face object. And I'm going to go to edge mode, and I'm going to select this edge right here at the top of the nose. Let's go ahead and go to our left view, hitting L on the keyboard. And I'm going to drag out this edge that goes all the way around the head. Now, before I get started with this, I'm going to take this edge right here and I'm going to pull it forward in the X. And what I want here is to try and get these right on top of one another, at least right here at the top. So that way, whenever I drag out these edges, they'll be nice and straight. So if I hold down Shift and drag this out, it should look just like a line here. Now, before I go any further, I want to make sure that these vertices here at the top are perfectly straight. So we can scale those in the Y. Okay, and that looks good. And we'll go back to our left view, and I'm going to scale those in the X. And I just want to make sure that we get a nice set of polygons as we start extruding this out. Because if we extrude this out all the way around the head, then we'll have to come into each individual vertex and start moving those around. So, now that we have that, let's go to edge mode, and in our left view, let's grab our move tool, hold down Shift, and we're going to start dragging these out and just following right along with the contour of the face. Now I want to make sure that my polygons are a little bit on the larger side. I'm not worried about sticking exactly to the shape of the head. I just want to make sure that we get a good set of polygons to get started here. Now as we come up into the hair, this one could be a little bit different. We don't want to follow along with the contour of the hair because that's going to be a separate object. So I'm just going to create the skull, and it should be pretty close to the shape of the hair. It's going to go just underneath. So again, I'm just holding down Shift, dragging out a polygon and releasing both of those, and then continuing on down around. Now I'm going to go right here to the base of the neck. I'm not going to continue around at this point. I'm just going to build out this part. Now, going on ahead, as you can see here, we've traced that out. You can start to see that come together. Let's grab this polygon right here. Let's go to our left view. And I'm going to hold down Shift and drag that out. Start to create the shape of the nose. And it looks like I may have to grab those vertices and pull that out just a little bit more. And then back to edge mode. Start pulling out these vertices, or these polygons. And then once I get down to the bottom of the nose, I'm going to select both of those edges and just simply hit bridge. Now we have the lips that we could do the same thing with. Let me pull that out some. Let me hold down Shift, drag that out. We'll do just 3 segments right down to the middle. Okay, so I'm going to leave that just the way that is right there, and I'm going to grab this edge, and I'm going to pull that down, something like that, and I'll hold down Shift, and I'll create 3 or 4 segments here. So I'll go right up to there. Alright, so we've got that shape, and then I'm going to take these 2 edges, simply bridge those, and then I'm going to take these and drag those around. I'm going to pull that out. Now, before I get going any further, let me pull these a little bit closer to one another. Okay. And then I'm going to go hold down Shift. We'll drag that out and start to create the shape of our character's chin. And I'm going to start to turn these polygons pointing toward the face. Trying to keep those polygons about the same size. And then we're going to go right to about where the neck meets. So right here should be good. And there we go. Great. So take a look at what you have right now. You've got some polygons that we have set up here. And it looks like we grabbed the wrong edge to extrude that out. Let's grab those polygons. Let's try that one more time. Sorry about that, I should have checked. Hold down Shift, drag that out, and there we go. So go right up to that neck there. So that should be good. So now that we have all these polygons set up, now what we can do is start to bridge the gaps. And this is going to take just a little bit of work. We're going to start to bridge in the gaps of the face first. And then once we have the face pretty much blocked out, then we'll start to block out the rest of the skull. Alright, so to get started with this, looks like we have that polygon there. Let's select those two edges right here and actually bridge those. Alright, so now that we have that set, let's come up here to the eye and let's connect it to the loop that we have here in the cheek. So I'm going to grab this edge right here at the middle of the eye, and I'm going to bring it right into this point right here. And I'm going to hold down, actually, let's just use our bridge tool, and let's add in, looking at this, we do one segment, should be fine. Let's take those segments that we've just created and let's make sure that we shape it out into what we need. And that should be fairly flat. We might take that and pull it out a little bit to create a little bit of shape there, but we should be fairly close. And then we need to block in these two edges, as that's going to connect the inner of the eye to the bridge of the nose. So we'll bridge that with a single segment. And I'm going to take this and pull it forward and then out a little bit. Take these vertices and pull that out some. Now looking at your front view, it might start to look like the socket of the eye is a little too far back, especially at this point right here, and it is. So let's push it forward in the Y and then over in the X, and that should kind of start to create a nice shape that goes right into the next one. Let's do the same thing here. Pull that forward, okay, and start to create a nice shape that goes into one another. We can take this edge and we'll bridge those. And let's go to vertex mode, right click, target weld from here to there. And we'll pull that forward. So now what we've created here is the first part that's going to start going into the brow. Now it's this edge right here that's going to go right up into the eyelid. So let's right click, target weld this vertex to here, and that's going to create that shape. I'm going to pull that forward just a little bit. Okay, and remember this is the eyelid, not the brow. Alright, so we've blocked in that shape, so we've got a small gap here that we can deal with a little later, but we can already see exactly which way these loops are going to go. So this loop is going to come across and connect right into here. This loop is also going to connect right into here and then down. So everything's going to work out great with this. Let's come in and start connecting this to the rest of the lip. So this one's could be a little tricky. This loop right here could be confused to go right into the nose, but this should actually come right down and connect right up underneath the nose. So we're going to take these 2 points right here, and I'm going to bridge those, and with a single segment, go to our front view, and I'm going to pull that down to where it comes up underneath the nostril of the nose. We may have to make a few adjustments to that overall shape, but that should flow into that nicely. Alright, so now we're starting to get into some of the more difficult shapes. We have a triangle right here. We're not exactly sure where that's going to go. Should we just target weld it to here, or should we do something a little bit different? And I think target welding that together should be just fine. And we'll actually take this point and pull it down a little bit lower. And then we can actually split this right in half to connect right up into the nose. So hit Control-Shift-S, create a segment right in the middle of that, and then go to vertex mode and start to make some adjustments. So that's just going to point right toward our nose on the outside of that nostril. Okay, so you can start to see that shape coming out of there. Okay, it's very rough. but you can see the shape of the nose right there in that hole. Okay, so now we've got that set up. Let's take these two edges right here and simply hit bridge with a single polygon. And same thing here. Let's go to perspective view. Just kind of inspect that shape a little bit. And that's just a little bit too much of a gap there. So I'm going to take these vertices, I'm going to pull that forward on both of those. And it should start to flatten that out a little bit. And we might actually take this, push it in and back a little bit. Okay, so it should start to kind of plane out a little bit. Great. Okay. Let's take this edge right here. I'm going to push that forward in the Y a little bit, just to kind of get those polygons to flatten out a little bit better. Take this one, push it back in. All right. So just doing a little bit of tweaking here. Alright, so that looks good. We've got that shape for the mouth. This is all going to connect right up here into the cheek. We've blocked out this hole here that's going to give us the shape of our chin. We might take that edge right there and push that back in the Y a little bit. And in our front view, just take a look at those vertices. In our left view, nice looking shape. Okay, nothing standing out too terribly bad. So got a nice little shape going on there. We've got our lips looking good. We'll make some adjustments to this because when it starts to connect, that may not translate all that well, so we'll start to pull those points out and really get that shape there. So there's our face. We've blocked in the mouth and the nose. We've got all those loops connected. We've got the eye connected with this loop here. And we can start bridging those gaps together there. Now the rest of this should all come down into the cheek and into the face. We'll have these loops that come across to create the rest of the cheekbone. And then we'll start getting into connecting the skull and all of this back together again. So in the next lesson, what we're going to do is we're just going to continue working on the face, building in these polygons, shaping it out, and just continuing to block it in, making it easier to work with. So we'll get started with that next.